Hey guys, number one Marmaduke fan here. So most people are talking about how like they're out of work because of coronavirus. Without saying too much, I work in a field that's related to food distribution, so I am working overtime hours every single day. It's a madhouse, and I need to relax. And I saw this trending, and the thing is, this is one of these stories where my reaction is my advice for people is to just kind of look at this, chuckle, and move on, because I do believe that the intention of the creator was to make this bait. So the idea was to get me so triggered that I'd come on YouTube and I'd say, SJW Marvel is at it again, boycott. And I swear, at this point, I think they're hoping that I'll buy this just to see how cringy it is and make fun of it on you. I think that's their sales plan now. So I haven't bought a Marvel comic in the last year, but my kind of thing is, since I've stopped doing like SJW Marvel videos, when I talk about it, I want to have a nugget, right? A nugget that I haven't heard anyone else say. So I have a couple little nuggets for you to help you in this coronavirus wasteland. You can entertain yourself with so many things, but it doesn't have to be whatever the heck Marvel is doing with the New Warriors. So nugget number one is, this is kind of like Miley Cyrus and the Wrecking Ball video, where I remember when Miley Cyrus got naked and swung around in a wrecking ball, there was like this meta discussion in conservative and Christian Twitter and Facebook of, should you even talk about it? If you talk about Miley Cyrus riding naked on the wrecking ball, aren't you doing exactly what Miley Cyrus wanted you to do? Wasn't her whole reasoning in getting naked and riding on the wrecking ball to get you to talk about it and make it a sensation, right? But what if you can use Miley Cyrus as a way to say something that's productive, right? So this is kind of like the catch-22 of all political, cultural discussion is, do I take the bait, right? And I feel like, I guess you could also say, don't fall for low-quality bait, .jpg. If you can talk about it in a way where you're not losing your mind, maybe it's useful to just kind of take note of it and not let them troll you. Because this is a troll. This is hollowing out the legacy of Marvel. It's, I haven't bought a Marvel comic in over a year because I recognized that they were pissing on the legacy of greater men, and I can read manga. That's really the big point I wanted to make, was they actually do a similar theme in the new Warriors. Compares nicely to something in My Hero Academia, but there's a reason all the Gen Zs are doing ships and fan fictions of anime after anime after anime. And there's going to be no kawaii chibi fan art of these characters because they were made to troll. And if you just make characters to troll, maybe you'll get a couple YouTubers to get angry and do a YouTube roast of it. Maybe you'll get a couple of like the really tiny fringe political lefties to pick up this book. What this really... One of the other things about this is Bible Man. This is Bible Man for people who hate God. If you don't know what Bible Man is, like, if VeggieTales was the good Christian cartoon that people love to meme and love to talk about, like, the great gag writing in it, Bible Man was just like this weird, not Power Rangers. You could tell that some fundamentalists said, oh no, Japan makes Power Rangers and it's of the devil. We've got to make Power Rangers, but the Bible power. That's what this is. This. Even if you're the poor, sorry little kid who's forced to read this, you're just gonna be sad the entire time, because a little kid knows when you're condescending to them. The whole article is full of this, condescending. Oh, they're totes my goats special. All right, so. I'm not going to read it all because other people are going to do that. So we've got screen time. We've got internet powers. He's a meme guy. We've got Snowflake and Safe Space. I'm going to come back to that. We've got B Negative, the goth, totally 90s vampire, and Trailblazer, the body diversity Native American pocket dimension girl. Okay, so a few quick observations. How do you know this isn't a racist caricature? Because I've noticed a tendency that if an artist observes any kind of racial characteristics in a character, potentially that could get called out as a racist caricature. Like there are obviously things that are obviously racist caricatures, like, you know, Sambo minstrel show cartoons from the 1930s. I think I have absolutely no problem saying you shouldn't draw that way, right? But once you sort of accept the logic of like problematic, postmodern, deconstruct everything, well, why isn't this a racist caricature? Certain features are being exaggerated. It's not exactly flattering. How do you know? Who's the writer on this? He's on the Stephen Colbert Show. So that's kind of like the key giveaway. Daniel Kibblesmith, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. I guarantee you, like, you're lucky if Daniel Kibblesmith has read one top 10, what's that garbage site? BuzzFeed.com, problematic things to avoid in movies, right? Like, this is capitalism. This is Marvel corporate saying, how do we get millennials to buy a comic book? Because they're just hoping you buy a comic book at this point. They're not trying to sell a million comic books. They're hoping that a millennial will buy this comic book, and maybe a anti-SJW YouTuber will buy this comic book. So if one YouTuber goes and buys this comic book to roast it, that's one more sale than Marvel deserves. Don't fall for the low quality bait, right? So Daniel Kibblesmith, these people don't understand anything about the ideology they're alluding to. They're just pandering to it. And that's not even fun for people who agree with the ideology. All right, here's an idea. What if screen time, I don't know if he should be all right, maybe that's too edgy, but what if screen time is noticeably right-wing, right? He even has like the 4chan vibe going to him, and all of the hot spots on the internet traditionally have had a right of center leaning because memes tend to flourish on places where you're allowed to say something offensive. What if, you know, like there was the hawk and the dove, right? And how did the hawk and the dove work? They had a back and forth. Like Hawk would say, you bleeding heart liberals, you don't know that you can defend yourselves. And the dove would say, you black-hearted conservatives, you're so mean, but they're brothers and they love each other, right? It's kind of like a stupidly simple, almost like trite, you know, dumbing down of political discourse, but it's almost sweet in a way because it's simplifying our political back and forth to the point where you can say, yes, we can have these disagreements, but we can have this sort of common humanity. Modern Marvel can't do that, right? So he's not going to say anything too edgy. He's not going to be quoting any like actually relevant internet memes, because all of the great internet memes lean right. All right, so Snowflake and Safe Space obviously are giving terms that are pejorative terms to characters, and the idea from the writer is, well, what if we redeem these terms and make them into positive names, not negative names? And he almost instantly got blowback because snowflake has been a racist term for a black person who's acting white, and I didn't even know that. That's the great thing about the left, is they have all of these great historical factoids to destroy your life with. But anyway, so what this reminded me of is My Hero Academia, where I've talked about this on the Matriarchy. I've talked about this in a little manga review. But one of the most beautiful moments in My Hero Academia, it's in the second volume of the manga, is Deku accepts his bully's name as his name, and he changes the meaning of the name. So in Japanese, Deku can mean useless, but Deku can also mean you can do it. So his bully Bakugo has called him Deku all his life, meaning useless, useless, useless. And Deku figures out that that doesn't have to be what my name means. My name can mean I can do it. It's beautiful. And then in the fight scene, he uses a judo throw, which is perfect writing because the physical combat is symbolizing the emotional, heroic moment. It's wonderful, right? So that's moments like that are why all of the Zoomer nerds are arguing about the top 10 anime fights of all time and how 8 out of 10 of them are from My Hero Academia. The Zoomers love them, some My Hero Academia, because they connect with that theme of heroism. So in theory, this is a similar thing where the mean bullies call us snowflake and tell us to go to our safe spaces, but we're going to show them, we're going to make that our names, and that's our hero names. What do you think of that? That's the bait, right? So this doesn't work, though. So for Deku, it's actually culturally relevant, and it connects to him as an individual. So you have to ask, what do these names mean? Snowflake. So the thing about the snowflake joke is snowflake didn't start as an insult. It was something where you would say, we are all special snowflakes. Every child is special. Everyone is special, right? That kind of a 90s everyone needs self-esteem thing. I even remember in like DuckTales, they had the kids say, "We're all special snowflakes," and they didn't mean it in the pejorative sense. They meant it in the "we're all special and unique." Then it became a joke where if someone was melting or just being absurd, you'd call them a snowflake because you're alluding to this idea that everyone is special. You've been brought up to think you're this super duper special person at the center of the universe, and you have no maturity, you have no grounding. So this would be like if her name was Participation Trophy. It wouldn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense for someone to say, I am Participation Trophy. You may call me a Participation Trophy, but to me, Participation Trophy means no, it just doesn't work. So safe space, again, like I kind of was in school as safe spaces were becoming, like before they were an internet thing, I was aware of safe spaces during my college years. And what always felt like sad about them is these are 18-year-olds who are acting as if they have, the post-traumatic stress disorder of a soldier who's come off of the battlefield because a conservative came on campus and said, I think that it's okay for there to be national borders. So even though you're 18 years old, we've got to build this little room for you with cuddly animals in it so you can go in there. And really, they exist as a way of signaling your political superiority. Unlike those awful students who go to listen to this opinion, we, the moral students, have set up this safe space. So again, it's something really condescending, and really, when someone tells you you should go into a safe space, they are really looking down at their nose at you. People who feel confident about themselves, people who feel mature, people who feel like they're independent adults, don't want to go into a safe space. They don't want to put themselves I enjoyed my childhood. I don't want to go crawling under my bed and crying because I got spanked or because my Legos are missing or something, right? I want to grow up and I want to do other things with my life besides the little stupid things that occupied me as a child. Be negative, I already commented on Trailblazer, right? So, blah. So, was that the point? Yeah, that was the main point I wanted to get at. Like, you can't, even though this is a similar thing to what My Hero Academia does, taking the bully's name and applying it to yourself, this doesn't work because instead of in My Hero Academia, it's all about struggle and it's all about overcoming the bully's adversity. It's all about the bully themselves actually having some pretty admirable qualities. In this context, it's about trying to troll for attention, so that undermines the whole kind of beautiful theme of taking your bully's words and using that to make you stronger. Nothing about this suggests that you're strong. Nothing about this says that your bully's comments aren't getting to you. If your bully's comments, if you weren't offended by being called a snowflake, you wouldn't feel the need to try to rub it in your bully's nose in such kind of like a condescending, nothing is going to come of this way. So you don't need to buy this to roast it. You don't need to whinge about it on Twitter or attack the creators because they're literally just putting out low quality bait, they're hoping that two of you will get angry and that two woke parents will buy it, and that's their new definition of success. And what you can do is actually succeed. You can actually create. You can not get obsessed with the idea, I've got to work for Marvel Comics and work with these great historic, like these characters will enter the public domain eventually, and then great artists and writers of a future generation will get to rediscover these characters and find what makes them great. Go back to the characters of 80 years ago, like Batman and Popeye, and see what you can make with them if you can't come up with your own characters. Make your own characters, and just keep on winning. So the loser sees this and freaks out and gets all butthurt and offended. The winner says, okay, I see what you're doing. I'm going to get back to creating. All right, hey, it's my first SJW Marvel video in a year. That's it. I'm number one Marmaduke fan. I love you guys. Stay safe from coronavirus. I love you all. Back to work tomorrow for me. Catch you later.